Hey, what's up? It's Shadow4 here. Ubisoft. What on earth is wrong with you? Ubisoft just released an update that went live on their test server, and the update contains some, shall we say, controversial changes. To put it in other words, these changes don't make any sense. It's almost as if Ubisoft doesn't understand their own game. The first change that I want to talk about is the change to Buck. Buck has lost his frag grenades and instead has gained a claymore. The magazine size for the skeleton key has also been increased, and he has a little bit of extra ammo for the skeleton key. But what I want to focus on is the fact that he lost his frag grenades in favor of a claymore. Ubisoft says that they took away his frag grenades because they're too powerful when combined with his soft breaching capabilities, and so they added a claymore to allow him to cover his back. The problem with this is that frag grenades are essential to Sledge. If you take away his frag grenades, you're taking away one of his primary tools. Now, it seems as though they're nerfing Buck so that Sledge can get more play, because most people are going for Buck instead of Sledge because Buck is more useful. I can understand why they want to take frags away, but I believe they're so essential to Buck's kit and how he works that it's just a very bad choice. I'm just not understanding what Ubisoft is aiming to do with this change. Moving on, we see that Kavira is getting a Razor holographic sight, and I believe this is a good change and a good addition to her loadout. To be honest, I'm not entirely sure why she didn't have a holographic sight in the first place. And the next change is, well, Jaeger. Jaeger has been reduced from a 3-speed to a 2-speed. This will be perhaps the most controversial and hated change Ubisoft has ever made. Why was this necessary? Why are they making him a 2-speed? Well, it's no secret that Ubisoft really wants players to play Wamai a lot more. And this hasn't been happening, so they're going to very drastic measures to try to force it. They're missing a couple of things though, which are very important to understand. The first is that people aren't playing Wamai because his gadget is inherently worse. Jaeger gets 3 ADSs that he can place down at the beginning of the round, and they can each take out 3 projectiles. That's a total of 9. Wamai starts the round with 1 magnet, but then has to wait 40 seconds in order to place another one. Even then, he only gets a total of 5 magnets. Now Jaeger can take out 9 total projectiles, and Wamai can only take out 5. That's a big difference. Also, Jaeger can place the gadgets down immediately and go do whatever he wants, and Wamai has to wait 40 seconds to get the extra gadgets out. That is the primary reason people are picking Jaeger over Wamai. Certainly, Jaeger being a 3-speed helps, but the fact is that Wamai's gadget is significantly worse. You get to take out far fewer projectiles, you have to wait longer, and you can't roam as effectively because of this. So instead of buffing Wamai's gadget or nerfing Jaeger's gadget, what they decide to do is make Jaeger 2-speed. This is the worst change they could possibly make to try to balance them out. I have no clue why Ubisoft thought this was a smart idea. The problem is, this is starting to become a trend. Look at Maestro, for instance. Ubisoft really wanted to nerf Maestro. The reason Maestro is so powerful is because of its gadget. It's an amazing gadget. It gets a ton of intel, it can do damage, it plays plant denial, it's so useful and so powerful. So what do? They take away his ACOG. Why? How is taking away his ACOG going to solve the problem and make him weaker? Ubisoft has been nerfing Ella a ton lately, but the reason Ella is so good is because of her gadget. So what do? They make the recoil on her gun absolutely insane so that you can't control it. How does this solve the problem? It doesn't. What it does is that it makes the operators so bad or so frustrating to play that people aren't going to pick them or play as them. Ubisoft is ignoring the problem. They're not fixing what needs to be fixed. They're changing other things about the characters in hopes that it will cause players to become happy. But that's avoiding the problem. If Ubisoft keeps balancing operators in this manner, they're gonna upset a lot of people. This is not how you should balance a game. Ubisoft needs to start paying attention and address the actual problems instead of just changing secondary factors. Moving on to the patch notes, you can see that Mozzie is going to lose his super shorty. Again, why is this necessary? This doesn't make any sense. The Super Shorty nicely complements Mozzie's gadget. It's a useful secondary that allows him to be very versatile. I can understand why Ubisoft would want to make Mozzie a little bit weaker due to how useful he currently is, but why not do something like take away his C4? Or nerf his gun or do something? Why do you have to take away the Super Shorty? The Super Shorty is not what makes Mozzie good. It's not what makes him so useful in a round. What makes him so useful in the round is the fact that he can deny intel and capture drones. If Ubisoft wants to make him weaker, I don't think this is how they should do it. Like I said, to me, it seems like they're completely avoiding the problem and are hoping that this is going to have some sort of impact, but I personally don't see that happening. And now we get to Ying. Oh boy, Ubisoft is really going all in here. First, we see that Ying has an extra candela. Next, we see that her claymores are being replaced with smokes, and the damage of her gun is increased from 43 to 46. Now, Ubisoft has been throwing a lot of love towards Ying lately, but I think this update takes it way too far. First of all, I don't really think she needed an extra candela. And second, why on earth does she have smokes? That is completely broken. Imagine this happening now. Ying has 2 smokes, she throws them down, she chucks in 2 or 3 candelas and just goes in. Everyone is going to be blinded, they can't do anything, it's going to be very hard to defend against. I think Ying was already a good operator, she just takes a lot of skill to use. If you communicate well with your team, Ying can be very powerful. However, for some reason, Ubisoft really wants players to play her more, and they really want to see her win rate go up. I could get behind 1 or 2 of these changes, but not all of them. For instance, it would be fine if she got a couple of extra damage to her gun, or it would be fine if she got an extra candela. But to have more damage to her gun, an extra candela, and get smokes, that's just way too far, and I have no clue why Ubisoft decided to make this change. They've turned a decently strong operator into a completely broken and overpowered operator. It doesn't quite make much sense to me, and I don't understand why they did it. The final change is to the TSG-12 shotgun for Kaid and Goyo. The gun now has a larger magazine size, and the damage has been reduced from 84 to 55. That's a lot. Like a lot. I don't have a huge problem with this change overall, but I do think it's a very large amount of damage lost. Also, I'm curious as to why they increased the magazine size but didn't increase the reserve ammo. Because the gun does not have a lot of reserve ammo at all, and so if you're trying to create holes in walls or anything like that, you're going to be running very low. And that's all for the updates. That's everything Ubisoft announced. It'll be interesting to see if they actually go through with all these updates and changes and they make it to the live server. But this really gives us an insight into how Ubisoft balances their game. I don't really understand what Ubisoft is doing right now, and I hope they get back on track and make some real changes that are going to benefit the players and the operators. Because right now, it just seems that Ubisoft is avoiding a lot of the real problems and making changes where changes should not have to be made. A quick note before I end the video, I know this video is coming out a little bit late after the changes were made. They were made a couple of days ago. But I wanted to make sure that this was not an April Fool's joke because that's how bad the changes were. I really hope you guys liked the video. If you did, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all next time.